Buried underneath all the polished headlines and picture-perfect royal moments, Prince William has been making some seriously bold moves behind closed doors. This isn't just quiet planning. This is a full-scale financial shakeup worth billions, paired with a calculated strategy to slowly strip power away from Queen Camilla's inner circle. With total control over the Duchy of Cornwall and the unmatched global pull of Catherine, Princess of Wales, William is already cutting off long-standing money flows and rewriting the rules for what comes next. No hesitation, no warning. Forget the staged smiles and royal walkabouts, because the real story is sitting in cold, hard financial records. Deals that once looked untouchable, gone. Promises that seemed permanent, quietly reversed. William isn't playing the emotional game people expected. He's moving with precision, locking things down piece by piece to make sure the monarchy's future centers only around his own bloodline. While the public image paints him as the calm, obedient son keeping the peace, that narrative doesn't hold up when you look closer. The reality? This is strategy at its sharpest. William doesn't argue in public, doesn't leak drama, doesn't throw accusations. He just acts. He's using the system itself as his weapon, tightening financial access, enforcing stricter internal rules, and slowly pushing certain family members out of key positions. Every move is controlled, every decision deliberate, and the end goal is crystal clear: total control of the monarchy's future, staying firmly with his direct line. But to really understand how all of this started, you have to rewind back to a major turning point in 2005, the marriage of King Charles III and Camilla. At the time, public opinion was messy, divided, and unpredictable. To calm the situation, Clarence House released a clear, official promise, one that seemed locked in forever. Camilla would never be called queen. Instead, she would take on the lesser title of princess consort once Charles became king. That statement wasn't just casual wording, it was a calculated deal to avoid chaos. And for a while, it worked. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. Over the next 17 years, a steady and relentless push began from inside Charles's circle to slowly rewrite that promise. Bit by bit, the narrative shifted, quietly, carefully, until everything changed in 2022, when Queen Elizabeth II publicly expressed her wish for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort. And through all of that, William said nothing. Not a word of support, not a single public objection. Many took that silence as defeat. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because silence in this world is power. William understood something critical. Titles can be handed out by a king, but real influence? That belongs to whoever controls the system next. By staying out of the public fight over titles, William protected his own leverage. He let his father win the headline battle, knowing full well that the real authority, the kind that shapes the future, was already slipping into his hands. Camilla may have the crown, but the control, that's a completely different story. And it didn't take long for that shift in power to become very real. The moment Charles took the throne, everything changed overnight. Control of the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate worth over £1 billion, passed directly to William. No delays, no shared control, just instant authority. Charles was no longer signing off on anything tied to that empire. For decades, that estate had been more than just land. It was a financial machine, generating tens of millions every year, completely separate from taxpayer funding. And during Charles's time running it, there was one arrangement that stayed firmly in place. Camilla's sister, Annabel Elliot, held a major role designing properties across the estate. Year after year, serious money flowed directly into her business through those contracts. It became normalized, just part of how things worked. No questions asked, no changes made. But the second William took control, that setup didn't survive. In July 2024, the Duchy released its financial report, and hidden inside was a massive shift. Annabel Elliot was gone from the payroll, just like that. No announcement, no explanation, no back-and-forth discussions. The contract wasn't renewed, and that was it. No drama in public, but make no mistake, that move spoke loudly. William didn't need to argue or explain himself. He simply reviewed the numbers, made his call, and shut down a financial pipeline that had been running for nearly 2 decades, clean, final, and impossible to challenge. This wasn't about personal grudges, it was about control, a clear signal that the old rules no longer apply. Titles may still come from the palace, but the money, the real power behind the scenes, is now firmly out of reach for certain members of the extended royal circle. But even that financial control isn't William's strongest advantage. The real force behind his position can't be tracked on any balance sheet. It's influence. And at the center of that is Catherine. Her impact goes far beyond appearances. It's measurable, undeniable, and incredibly powerful. Polling throughout 2024 shows both William and Catherine dominating public approval, with ratings soaring above 70%. Meanwhile, Charles and Camilla struggle to even reach the mid-40s. That gap? It's huge. And in a modern monarchy where public support is everything, those numbers aren't just stats, they're leverage. They shape perception, influence decisions, and determine who truly holds the upper hand. This isn't just about popularity, it's about positioning. And right now, William and Catherine aren't just ahead. They're setting the stage for what comes next, and doing it with calculated precision. Queen Camilla may carry the official title of Queen, a position she fought for over decades of public scrutiny and image rebuilding. But Catherine, Princess of Wales, holds something far more powerful: the full backing of the public. And that difference, it exploded into full view during the summer of 2024. After revealing her deeply personal battle with cancer and undergoing preventative treatment, Catherine's return wasn't just emotional, it was seismic. When she appeared on the balcony at Trooping the Colour and later stepped into the royal box at Wimbledon Championships, the reaction was overwhelming. Crowds didn't just applaud, they erupted. Cameras locked onto her, headlines revolved around her, and the entire global spotlight shifted in her direction instantly. In those moments, something became impossible to ignore. Charles and Camilla faded into the background. Years of carefully crafted efforts to strengthen Camilla's image couldn't compete with Catherine's natural connection to the public. It wasn't forced, it wasn't staged, it just happened, and it hit hard. Prince William sees this clearly. He's been watching this pattern his entire life. He knows the monarchy isn't just about titles or tradition, it's about perception. His mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, once captured global attention in a way that shook the institution itself. Her presence overshadowed King Charles III, creating tension that history hasn't forgotten. But this time, William isn't resisting it. He's controlling it. He isn't dimming Catherine's light to protect anyone. Instead, he's pushing it forward, making her the undeniable face of what the monarchy will become. That iconic sapphire engagement ring? It's not just jewelry. It's a loaded symbol of continuity, legacy, and power that still traces back to Diana. And this dominance doesn't stop with Catherine. It runs through the entire Wales line. The strength of this position is locked into bloodline, and it showed clearly during the coronation in May 2023. In a move meant to highlight unity, Charles gave Camilla's grandchildren visible ceremonial roles, placing them right at the center of the moment on the Buckingham Palace balcony. It looked significant, but the public reaction told a completely different story. The world wasn't watching for them. All eyes, all anticipation, all emotional investment. It was fixed on Prince George of Wales, Princess Charlotte of Wales, and Prince Louis of Wales. That contrast said everything without needing a single statement. Camilla may have brought her family into the spotlight for a moment, but William controls what happens next, and that future stretches for generations. The Wales children aren't just present, they are the monarchy's continuation. Camilla's extended family? Temporary players in a much bigger timeline. The long-term story belongs entirely to the descendants of Diana, and William knows exactly how to use that reality. Every public appearance, every image, every carefully planned moment reinforces that message again and again. But don't let the smiles and public warmth fool you. William's leadership style is far from soft. Behind the scenes, it's strict, controlled, and completely focused on protecting the institution at all costs. When it comes to the monarchy's survival, emotion doesn't get a vote. You can already see how this plays out by looking at how he handles conflict inside the family. The situations involving Prince Andrew, Duke of York, and Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, aren't random. They're clear examples of the system William is building. Take Andrew, for example. While King Charles has shown moments of hesitation about removing his brother from the massive Royal Lodge estate, reports suggest William has taken a much firmer stance. He's not wavering. He's already pushed for major consequences before, like stripping Andrew of his military titles and royal duties. That decision wasn't emotional, it was strategic. William is shaping a monarchy that's smaller, tighter, and built around active, controversy-free service. Status alone doesn't guarantee anything anymore, not even for family. And then there's Harry. The situation with his brother hits even deeper, but the outcome is even more final. Despite past closeness, Despite shared history, William has drawn a hard line that hasn't moved. While Charles has shown occasional openness to repairing that relationship, William hasn't followed that path. Sources continue to indicate that as long as he holds influence, there's no route back into the working royal structure for Harry and Meghan. That's not hesitation. That's policy. If William is willing to cut off operational ties with his own brother to protect the institution, then nobody else is untouchable. That message is loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. And when you line up these decisions together, a pattern starts to form, one that directly impacts Camilla's future. Once Charles is no longer on the throne, Camilla's position changes dramatically. She would step into the role of Queen Dowager, a title with far less operational power. At that point, William wouldn't need personal conflict to make changes. He could apply the same framework he's already used, reduce privileges, scale back resources, and restructure roles, all under the banner of modernization and responsibility to the public. Large residences, extensive security, and high-level access, those could all be reassessed using the same logic already applied elsewhere. Not personal, just policy. And that's what makes it so effective. Every decision would be backed by institutional reasoning, making it difficult to challenge publicly. It's not about emotion, it's about structure, and William knows how to use it. This is where strategy meets legacy. Because underneath all of this, the financial shifts, the public positioning, the strict discipline, there's one deeper objective taking shape. And that is the undeniable restoration of Diana, Princess of Wales's legacy, bringing it back to the absolute center of the monarchy's future in a way that can't be undone. For years, the palace machine, alongside the carefully managed messaging of King Charles III, quietly pushed a certain narrative about Diana, Princess of Wales. She was often framed as part of the past. Important, yes, but something to be respectfully closed off so a new chapter could take center stage. The idea was simple: shift the focus forward and give Queen Camilla space to build her own legacy without constant comparison. But Prince William, he completely flipped that script, and he did it without noise, without drama, and without asking permission. Instead of arguing narratives, he made a bigger move. He embedded his mother's legacy directly into the monarchy's future. When William launched his major homelessness initiative in 2023, he didn't just present it as another royal project. He made it personal, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Standing in front of the world, he openly connected the mission to Diana, making it clear that everything driving that campaign traces back to her influence. He spoke about visiting shelters with her when he was just 11 years old, making it known, on record, that she shaped his understanding of the issue from the very beginning. That moment wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Because by tying one of the monarchy's biggest modern efforts directly to Diana, he ensured her presence isn't fading, it's expanding. This wasn't about remembering her quietly. This was about making her legacy active again. Every success tied to that initiative, every headline it generates, every global conversation it sparks, it all circles back to Diana. And just like that, any attempt to slowly replace her impact within the royal structure? Completely shut down. William didn't need to challenge anyone publicly. He just made sure her influence became too big to ignore. When the future king repeatedly brings Diana's name into major global moments, it creates something no competing narrative can match. It's emotional, it's authentic, and most importantly, it connects with people instantly. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking on the current era, and the shift in power is already happening right in front of everyone. This transition didn't suddenly begin when Charles became king. It's been building for years. You can see it clearly in the financial decisions tied to the Duchy of Cornwall, in the overwhelming public support surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, in the firm handling of internal family conflicts, and in how Prince George of Wales, Princess Charlotte of Wales, and Prince Louis of Wales are being positioned as the undeniable future. Charles may have spent decades working to secure Camilla's place, ultimately placing the crown on her head and giving her a powerful role in the later years of his reign. But what comes next? That structure is already being shaped, and it belongs to William. What's happening now isn't loud, and it's not chaotic, but it's incredibly effective. Old tensions and unfinished history aren't being handled through interviews or emotional statements. They're being resolved quietly, through financial control, public influence, and strict adherence to institutional rules. William has taken something deeply personal, his past, his loss, his experience, and turned it into a calculated, controlled approach to leadership. This isn't a reaction, it's strategy. Because real power doesn't come from raising your voice or demanding attention. It comes from patience, from control, and from understanding exactly how to shape what happens next. And right now, William isn't just preparing for the future, he's already defining it. As everything begins to settle into place, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't just a quiet transition, it's a complete shift in how power is built and maintained inside the monarchy. Prince William isn't waiting for the crown to start leading. He's already operating like the system belongs to him, and in many ways, it already does. What makes this moment so intense is how controlled it all feels. There's no chaos, no explosive public fallout, no emotional speeches trying to win sympathy. Instead, every move is measured, every adjustment is subtle, and every outcome is final. That kind of control doesn't just happen, it's built over time, and William has been laying this groundwork for years without drawing attention to it. At the center of it all is a clear vision: streamline the monarchy, tighten its structure, and remove anything that doesn't directly serve its long-term survival. That means fewer distractions, fewer controversies, and a much sharper focus on public trust. And right now, that trust is sitting firmly with William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Together, they represent stability, continuity, and a future that feels more connected to the public than anything seen in years. It's not just about tradition anymore, it's about relevance. And William understands that better than anyone. This is exactly why every decision he's making feels so deliberate. Whether it's financial control, public positioning, or internal discipline, it all connects back to one goal: making sure the monarchy doesn't just survive, but evolves into something stronger and more focused. And while King Charles III continues to fulfill his role, the reality is shifting underneath the surface. Influence is no longer tied only to the throne. It's tied to perception, execution, and who actually shapes the future direction of the institution. That's where William stands apart. He's not reacting to the system, he's refining it. He's removing outdated patterns, reinforcing what works, and quietly setting boundaries that didn't exist before. And once those boundaries are in place, they don't easily move. Even the idea of royal privilege is being redefined. Under William's approach, status alone doesn't guarantee access or influence. Everything is tied to purpose, responsibility, and how it reflects on the institution as a whole. That's a major shift from the past, and it changes the entire dynamic moving forward. And then there's the next generation. Prince George of Wales, Princess Charlotte of Wales, and Prince Louis of Wales aren't just symbolic figures. They are the foundation of everything being built right now. Every decision, every adjustment, every strategic move is designed to protect what they will inherit. That's what raises the stakes even higher. Because this isn't just about the present, it's about decades into the future. William isn't thinking in headlines, he's thinking in generations. And when you look at how everything connects, the financial shifts, the public support, the strict internal standards, and the undeniable influence of Diana, Princess of Wales's legacy, it all forms one clear picture. This is a long game being played with precision. Nothing is rushed, nothing is wasted, and nothing is left open to chance. Every piece is being moved into position so that when the time finally comes, the transition won't feel sudden, it will feel inevitable. That's what makes this so powerful. By the time the crown officially changes hands, the real shift will already be complete. No dramatic turning point, no shocking overhaul, just a system that has already adapted, already tightened, and already aligned itself with the next era. And in that moment, it won't just be about who wears the crown, it will be about who shaped everything leading up to it. Because in the end, real authority isn't about titles or ceremonies. It's about control, timing, and the ability to define what comes next without needing to announce it. And right now, whether it's happening quietly or not, that control is already firmly in William's hands.